Hello, hello, hello. Just checking the lighting. Okay, so I'm Delia Yeager. I'm so glad that you're here for Tools of Living the Magic of You. And today we're going to talk a little bit about, are you resisting the very thing that you're desiring or requiring? So if that sounds a little odd, welcome to the club. Um, but it's actually really common that we will resist the very thing. Maybe it's doing something, maybe it's talking to somebody, and maybe it's just the being willing to have what it is that we desire or require. There's so much kind of cultural garbage, judgments, conclusions, decisions around desiring and around having and around receiving. It's better to gift than to receive. Not true, but everybody kind of likes it, right? They like the saying anyway. And the thing is that uh, with you can't gift without receiving. So think about it this way. Think about a time when you made a cake or uh, the perfect gift. You bought the perfect gift, or you came up with something to give to somebody that you were so excited about because you knew they were going to love it, right? And then they didn't love it, right? And you know how disappointed you are that they couldn't receive this great thing, whatever it was that you conceived of for them. So now think about a time when you came up with a gift or baked a cake or whatever you did, and you gifted it to someone and they loved it. They loved it. They received it so completely. See how the two energetically feel very different? So when you give, and someone doesn't receive, or they don't like it, or they refuse the gift, all of those are like pushing it away, right? And every time somebody cannot receive the gift that you're being with them or gifting to them, it'll feel like a whew, like knocking the wind out of you, or like a disappointment or a letdown, right? And when somebody receives who you are and what you're gifting to them, then there's like it grows exponentially. The yumminess grows, the energy grows, everything gets very um, jumping up and down fun, right? So this is a great example of how you cannot gift without receiving, because you're either going to receive their disappointment, in which case you're probably going to meet their disappointment with your own, resisting what they're resisting, right? And taking it personal and going down a rabbit hole, but we'll do that another day. So you're going to receive when you gift. Even if you do it badly or with strings attached, there's some kind of receiving that goes on when you gift. And if so, you can't do the better to give than to receive, because energetically it doesn't work. If you're giving to the way this reality operates, if you're giving to show that you're better than somebody, that's not much of a gift. And B, it's a hook, because the whole point of the gift is for you to be better than whoever you're gifting to. This is why um, uh, sympathy is so crappy. I mean, there might be a certain amount of pleasure in being the one who is having sympathy for somebody else. Oh, you poor dear. But turn it around and be on the receiving of that. I mean, I've yet to meet anybody who likes to receive sympathy. We may like to be heard. We may like to uh, be received, but we don't like sympathy. I have a real old saying back from when I was cruder. We'll say that was a long time ago. It says, you know where to find sympathy between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. And the point is that it doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of somebody's sympathy because sympathy is competition and somebody's better than somebody else. And as long as people are believing this thing about it's better to gift than to receive, then they're going to be competing to be the givers and competing to not be the receivers, which is a bastardization of both gifting and receiving. When you're operating as you outside of competition, receiving is luscious. And the universe and life, not the man-made societal structures, but life itself. Oh, it's gifting to us all the time. The planet is gifting to us all the time. The cosmos, energetically, there's so much richness right here, right now, all around, all the time. And receiving that richness is luscious and empowering and generative and creative and sparks new ideas and fills up your energy tanks. And it's like, oh, great. What else can we create? It has nothing to do with being pathetic or the universe is better than you and poor little old you. All you can do is receive. None of that. None of that. None of that. In fact, everything that brought up and let down, let's destroy, destory, disintegrate, and erase. Destroy, destory, disintegrate, and erase. Okay, so let's get back to what was the topic today? Uh, what are you resisting receiving? Yeah. So, what is it that you're desiring or requiring that you're resisting receiving? So, here's another thing about receiving is that if you're going to ask the universe for something, for anything, state of being, car, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you ask the universe for, you will you will receive it at some point. And at what point and in what form kind of depends a little bit on you. Because if you're not calibrated to receiving, if you believe receiving is bad or weak, then you're not going to be wanting to receive. However, if you practice receiving every day from the oxygen that you breathe and from the sunlight and from the rain and from the change of the weather and everything, then you're kind of dialed in, right? You're on the right station. You're listening to the universe and you're perceiving, maybe in words, maybe in pictures, maybe not, perceiving what the universe is gifting to you all the time. So we all have examples of how we really, 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 really wanted something and then we didn't get it. And that goes in the column of proof that you can't get what you want. Um, so it actually is proof that you didn't get what you wanted in that moment that you're aware of now. But that's not the same thing as you didn't get it. So what happens most of the time is we have this whole grocery list of all the times that we were disappointed. And based on how disappointing being disappointed is, we've usually made conclusions, decisions, assumptions about not wanting to recreate those situations, those circumstances, not wanting to recreate being disappointed. And so we've made decisions, conclusions, and assumptions to not get our hopes up. This is really, really so common. If if you're calibrated to not getting your hopes up, expect very little, and that way you can't be disappointed, or expect nothing so you don't get disappointed. There's lots of phrases to promote not getting disappointed. But isn't that interesting? So what are we making so vital, valuable, and real about disappointment that it isn't? Everything that brings up and lets down. Destroy, destory, disintegrate, and erase. Destroy, destory, disintegrate, and erase. So this is a way of energetically just poof, poof, poof. Just send all that energy away. being disappointed is just kind of disappointing. It's not life shattering. It can be, and certainly movies, TV shows, characters and novels, all kinds of places we see that disappointment is just catastrophic. It's just disappointing. You just make a different choice. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? But if we've been through trauma, if we've been through upset, if we've been through um, anything catastrophic, then it's like disappointing is really, serious, and it's more vital, valuable, and real than anything. And it's safer to stay in that disappointed energy and just peek out every once in a while than to go and do that horrible, risky hoping thing, right? So if hope isn't backed up with actions, it's just fantasy. But if hope is substantiated by actions and deeds and words, so what do you choose? What do you choose? What do you choose? Then hope is a thing that can get some momentum and can be fun, and you can dance around your house and clean your house, because things are possible. And with the disappointment is if disappointment is more valuable to you than hope, then you're going to want to avoid disappointment at all costs, which means why even know what you desire and require? Because if you know what you desire and require, you're just going to be disappointed all the time. This is crazy, total crazy stuff. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Whenever you find yourself in that kind of crazy making stuff, just use the crazy phrase, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. You always say it both ways. That's one round. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And you keep saying that until you feel less crazy, until you feel the energy shift and change and move. So, one of the biggest ways that we resist and block what it is that we desire and require is we refuse to receive it. And the best way to refuse to receive it is to refuse to know what it is that we desire and require. When disappointment is more vital, valuable, and real to you than being your infinite magical self, because that way you'll fit in. That way people won't object to you. That way you'll have buddies anyway, because you can sit around and kvetch with each other, right? It's not really that much fun though. And when hope is backed up with actual actions and what you say and what you think and what you do, is this aligning with what I hope for? Does this support what it is I want to create for myself in my life? Or does it not? And if it does, then do more of it. And if it doesn't, just tell yourself the truth and stop doing it. Or, okay, it doesn't really contribute to my life, but I'm going to sit down and watch 4 hours of Netflix anyway, right? Own your choice. And that's going to shift the dynamic quite a bit. So, some tools for are you resisting what it is that you want to create are allowing and what if, right? What if I had X number of dollars more? What if I had X number of clients more? What if I had better health? What if I could do these things? What if it was possible? I did this, I was at a luncheon some years ago, and a friend said, they were going around the table, and what's the impossible thing that you would like to do? And there were people of multiple generations there. And one woman said that the impossible thing that she would like to do is go see the Sphinx and tour Egypt. And her friend said, "Oh, that's not impossible. You could do that." And she was like, "No, I can't." I'm 75 years old and I can't walk that far. And, she had this whole laundry list of why she could not have this bucket list thing. And this friend of hers, they didn't really know each other yet. So this woman didn't know to not say these things. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you could hire a tour guide, you could do this, you could do this, and now they're doing this." And she had all these ways that this woman could do it. But this woman was so set in she couldn't possibly do it that it took a little bit of time. First, you could watch her face. First, she was like pissed, and then she was like insulted and being discounted in this way. But then the more the younger girl was talking, the more the lady was like, "Oh my gosh, I could go." And then she was in a state of choice. But at the beginning, she just assumed she couldn't. So what is it that you would love to do, have, be, create, that you have assumed is impossible for you, that is not impossible if you are open to receiving it? And everything that brings up and lets down: destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. So just be curious about what it is that you're refusing, and how, some signs of when you're refusing is kind of a knee jerk reaction or shut down, or I'm not even going to think about it. You'll find your flavor of resisting, right? And when you notice that you're doing that resistance, what if you just try? Maybe, maybe not. But what if I could? But what if I can't? But what if you could? But what if I can't? It's very funny. What you decide is what happens. If you decide you can't, there's no way in hell that you can. But if you are open to or decide that you can, all kinds of things are possible. Things that you can't even imagine yet. Because when you're in a position of I can, then the universe can come to you and you'll be able to see the tsunami of possibilities that's really all around you all the time. Okay, so uh, thanks for playing along, and let me know how this goes for you, and I will see you next time. Thanks.